Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Books, Business, and Brunch. I'm your host, Joan T. Randall. As you can see, my partner is not here with me today, but she's not feeling so well, but she'll be here next week. So listen, please invite your friends. Please come along this journey. We are talking about using your book to start a business. Part two, we had part one last week. So we will be back in a moment just for a commercial break. All right. So get your tea, get your brunch, get your whatever you have. I have some hot tea here, and I will be back in one moment. All right. That always makes me dance. So I'm behind the scenes dancing. I love that intro. Thank you to my lead graphic designer, Nadia Monsana, who created that intro for us. So thank you for those who are joining me. Let me know who you are. Drop your name in the chat. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm so excited to see you all. And so, again, this is Books, Business, and Brunch. I have my tea here today. And the purpose of this, right, is just to get you to understand that if you're an author, if you're a writer, if you're an inspiring author, that there is a way to monetize your writings, right? There's so many things that you can do to monetize what you do. You don't have to leave your full-time job if you have one. You don't have to walk away from that, but you can be building a legacy on the side. And one day, who knows, that might be what you do full-time, right? I'm a person that's retired, started my business in 2016. Here I am today with this publishing business and wanting to give you guys the information as well, right? As to how you can start a business from a book. Hey, Minister Janine, it is so nice to see you, right? You can literally start a business from a book. And as a matter of fact, we have the perfect model, Victorious You Press, because that is exactly what we did, right? Wrote some books and then turned it into something and then turned it into something else and something else. And next thing you know, here we are with Victorious You Press, who supplements people's income, which is good, right? When you have a business, you want to know at some point it grows so that you can give people jobs, right? Which is amazing. So if you're joining me for the first time or you don't know who I am Joan T. Randall. I am publisher, author, coach. I'm also the director for women's ministry at I Believe God Ministry International. But more than anything else, I'm purposed to impact lives and change the outcome. I am known as the author's midwife. And here at Victorious You Press, what we do is we help career-driven people and kingdom ministry, kingdom leaders, kingdom citizens to write and publish their book that are impactful so that they can monetize the book, right? Create legacies and have multiple streams of income all at the same time. You can do it all. It is not a if and or this versus that. It is all of it, because God has given us the capacity to do multiple things. One of my affirmation is I am created by the creator to be creative. See that? I'm created by the creator to be creative, which means he has given us the capacity to do multiple things, right? And so all you've got to do is take action. All you've got to do is put fear aside. All you've got to do is step out on faith, and you can do anything, right? So again, as I said before, this is Books, Business, and Brunch. I love doing this for my people in my group. So the only place you can see this on Mondays at 12:30 afternoon is the Books to Business and Beyond group, or on YouTube. All right. Because I want to provide the level of content to those who are my tribe, to those people in the group. All right. So last week was part 1 of using your book to start a business. And just for context sake, I want to go back for a little to just show you some of the things we covered last week so that I could get into part 2, right? So last week we talked about why you should write, right? And we talked about giving back, talk about legacy, we talk about you should hold the pen of your story. Then we talked about when should you write? And I said, the time is now. You're not promised tomorrow. And I don't know, but have you noticed recently that there are a lot of young people that are dying? A lot of young people are dying. This morning, I woke up to see that one of my friends, right? And I know two of her sisters, 2 of them published with me in an anthology. One published her own book. And to find out that their sister just lost her daughter, her adult daughter, who could maybe not be any more than 30 something, right? And she got in a car accident and it was fatal, right? So I feel like we're living in a time where things are so uncertain. We don't know what is going to happen next. And now is the time. It is now. You have all of the stuff inside of you. Write your book now. Get it out there now. Who should write, right? If you have a story, if you have a message, if you have a profession, if you're a business owner, if you're a ministry leader, you have something to write so that others can benefit from your experiences, right? And then we also talked about what should you write? And I gave you a list of stuff, right, that you should write. Now, today, I want to talk to you about part 2, right? And part 2 is, okay, I wrote the book, Joan T. Randall. I have the book. It's been on Amazon. I've done it for a while. Now what? You tell me I can use my book to start a business. Well, how do I do that? I have the book. Maybe you don't even have your own book. Maybe it's a case where you wrote in an anthology. So all you have is your one chapter. Can you still create a business from a chapter in an anthology? Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You can. So you have the book. Now what? The first thing I want you to do is rid yourself of the negative mindset. Rid yourself of doubt, rid yourself of fear, rid yourself of uncertainty, and just come with me on this journey. Just come with me along as I guide you through the elementary processes to do this and the foundational structure of what this looks like, right? I want you to think outside of the box, because this is not a one size fits all. I'm still enjoying your expertise, and thank you so very much. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Think outside the box, right? I have this book. Now what? Now what, Joan? You said I can do a business from a book. All right. I have the book. What do I do with it? How do I turn this into a business? I don't know. I don't know where to start. Well, I'm here, right? And because I've done it and I've helped others to do it, I want to help you too, right? This might be the business that you're wondering, oh God, you gave me a gift, you gave me a seed. I have not yet planted it because I don't know what my purpose is. This may be it. If you're listening me today and you just happen to see this broadcast, the Holy Spirit is speaking to you and telling you, listen, you are sitting on a gift that you can monetize. You're sitting on something that you could turn into a business and create your own legacy and make multiple streams of income. So if you're here today, it's because you're supposed to be here, because I've got some nuggets for you. All right. Remember, it's not one size does not fit all. So it's going to look different for everybody. Okay. So I want you to show up like an entrepreneur. I know this word is out there all over the place. I may have borrowed it from my friend Tyshina Davis. It is not my word. I did not make it up. I did not create it, but it's out there. And so I decide to borrow it, right? Show up like an entrepreneur. Show up like an entrepreneur who is writing a book, or show up like an author who wants to build a business from a book. That's why it's called an entrepreneur. Show up that way, which means my heart is ready. My mind is clear. I'm ready to take action. I'm ready to put the pieces in place, and I'm ready to build this business from this one book or this one chapter in an anthology. First things first. You cannot be an author and not have a landing page or a website. And I'm going to stick with landing page because landing page is cheaper. It's truly just one page, right? With all the elements that you need. And you don't have to build a complicated website with all these different pages, right? So let's just start with the landing page because, you know, it's a book, and if you're new to this, right, this is what you want to start with. People have to find a place to land. Why? Because they need to know who you are. They need to know a little bit about your background. They need to know about why you write the book. Who is the book for? What is the benefit of me reading the book that you write? And why should I buy it? Bottom line, right? So have to have a landing page. So many times I have people say to me, Joan, I want to write this book. I finished the manuscript. It's in editing. Or I'm done with the manuscript. It's in editing. Or my book is almost done. And I asked the question, do you have a landing page? No. Have you been marketing? No. Have you done any pre-sales? No. Oh my Lord, you're way behind the 8 ball. Those are things that you should have thought about, right? You cannot write a book, publish the book, and then sell the book. Absolutely not. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to get a return on your investment. You have got to build momentum with your book, right? And you have to have a place where people can land. I don't care if you go to GoDaddy and buy a URL for $1.99, because they do have URLs on GoDaddy for $1.99 or $2.99. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to buy a URL. You can buy the URL in your name, Joan Randall Speaks, or Joan Randall Writes, or Joan T. Randall Author, or Author Joan Randall, or whatever way you want to put it together. Some people buy a URL in the name of the book. I would kind of tell you not to, because if you plan on writing more than one book as an author, I think you should buy your name. I think you should own your name. Joan Randall Writes, Joan Randall Writer, Author Joan Randall, right? Some variation of something, because this is a business that you are going to want to start, or just buy your name, JoanTRandall.com. That's simple, right? So that means if you start to do other things outside of just books, the JoanTRandall.com is who you are. Purchase your name. Listen, you own it, right? When you buy your name, you own your name. So do that, right? And so that's the URL, but create a landing page. The second thing, as you're thinking about how do I turn my book into a business, is a payment processor. What do I mean by payment processor? You need to be able after you buy your URL, joantrandall.com, and you set up your landing page with the URL, joantrandall.com, I'm going to want to connect that to a payment processor. Why? So that if I have to sell my book on my landing page, people can just come to my landing page, click on the link, pay for my book, and I ship the book, right? Or if you want people to pre-order your book, they need to just be able to click on that link, have the payment processor say, purchase here. The payment processor is connected, and then they can purchase the book, which means whatever they pay for their book or any purchase they make goes into your bank account. So the payment processor, some very familiar ones that most people know is PayPal, Square, and Stripe. I personally am a Stripe girl. I love me some Stripe because I feel like it's simple, it's user friendly, it's easy to connect, it's all the bells and whistles. And I think you can have a free version of Stripe, and there might be a paid version for a minimal fee per month, but you can get it for free, right? So connect Stripe to your landing page. And what it does, once you create a free account in Stripe, right? And you create your landing page, create the free account in Stripe. Stripe will ask you to connect your account with a credit card or banking information. Not a credit card, a debit card. So that's all you have to do. Connect your Stripe account or your PayPal account or your Square account with a debit card, so that if somebody comes to your website and make a purchase, it goes right in, and here you are, the money is deposited into your account. The next thing is a professional email. So here is the thing about professional email. If you buy a URL and the URL is joantrandall.com, GoDaddy will give you an email address with that same professional name. So it could be joan@joantrandall.com or info@joantrandall.com or hello@joantrandall.com, right? So once you own that URL, you have an opportunity to have a professional email. But just say, you know what, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to pay the extra $10 a month for this professional email. You can always use a Google email. But get this, and I hope you're taking notes. Get this, right? To make Gmail look like a professional name, it could be something like joantrandall@gmail.com, right? So the same URL that you're using for your landing page, if you don't want to pay to get the extra for now, right? Later on, you may want to change it. Just make it joantrandall@gmail.com, right? If it is something, if your URL is joanwrites.com, you can make it joanwrites@gmail.com, right? So utilize the same URL type name to create your Gmail account if at this point you don't want to utilize the professional business email. But I would suggest the professional business. But if you want to save some dollars until you start build your business, just whatever the URL is, just make that @gmail.com. Does this make sense? Are you getting this? I want you to drop something in the chat to let me know if this is meaningful to you. All right. And then the other thing is social media pages, right? If you are going to turn your book into a business, you have to figure out, where do I want to be on social media? Social media, there's so many elements to social media. There's TikTok. Listen, TikTok. If you have some how-tos, or some DIYs or some, guides or something like that, TikTok is a beast because people will follow you and people will pay, right? People will pay. But outside of TikTok, just say you're comfortable just with starting on Facebook, right? Create some type of Facebook business page. Why? Or a group. One of the two. And here is why. If you create a group on Facebook, you can monetize the group and you can run ads in the group. If you create a Facebook business page, you can run ads or boost a post from your business page, right? So at some point, as you're building your authorpreneur business, you want to be able to boost a post every now and again so that more people see your content that you're putting out. So choose the one or two platforms that you're comfortable with: Facebook and Instagram, or Instagram and TikTok, or LinkedIn and Instagram. It is whatever you feel that works best for you. But you have to know that you're going to show up, right, on these pages. Because the worst thing is to start the page and then you start putting, content out or posts out, and then you stop. Can't do that, right? So it have to be consistent, and you can always schedule your post in advance. If you create a Facebook business page, right, there is a it's called the business suite on your Facebook business page, and you can literally schedule your social media posts right in the business suite. So there are, advantages to doing things where you're not putting out a lot of money, but you're starting someplace. The most important thing is just to start. Hey, Apostle, nice to see you. The most important thing is just to start, right? Start somewhere. So even if you're not going to hire a social media manager, as long as you have a Facebook business page, it gives you a business suite. And in the business suite, you can run ads, you can boost your posts, and you can do all the things as if you had a social media manager, and you can also schedule your posts. So that's the great thing about the Facebook business page. I've talked to you about a Facebook group and a Facebook business page. If you have to choose one or the other, I would start with the business page, and then as people get to know you, then you can build your Facebook group and grow that group. All right. So how do you use your book to start a business? Here's another part. You must be willing to be visible. 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 BLE. It doesn't need another I. Even the publisher is spell check, but that's okay. It's live. Things happen, right? So you must be willing to be visible and put the work in. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say to me, I want to write a book. My book is almost done. And I say, have you been marketing your book? No, I don't like Facebook. Oh my God, I don't like to do Facebook Live. Excuse me. You don't want to be an author, right? You cannot say you want to be an author and then say, I don't want to do Facebook Live. Well, baby, don't write then. But if you have a story, if you have a message, if you have a gift, if you have some treasure, some learned experience, some book things, you have to be visible. And you have to put the work in, or your book will never sell. I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was on a book club, right? Bags in the Attic. I don't have it right here on my desk with me, but Bags in the Attic was released in 2020. We sold about 6,000 copies of that book, right? Family, friends all over the place. We're in 2024. And yesterday I was invited to a book club group. There were about 17 women, and all 17 of them had Bags in the Attic in their hand. So what am I saying? I'm saying that As long as you keep it front and foremost, people will continue to buy it. It's 4 years later, and here I am, every person asking me questions about the book that was published 4 years ago. So you have to be able to be visible. You've got to put the work in. You've got to talk about it. You've got to let people know it's coming out. You got to do all the things that is necessary for you to be out there. Because if you're going to build a business, why do you go into business? Everybody who goes into business go into business for let's say two reasons only. One, to provide a solution to a problem, and two, to make money. That's it. Some people would flip that, to make money and then provide a solution. But really, you create the business because you had a solution to a problem. I don't care what it is you do, you are solving a problem. That's why you created the business. But you want to also be paid for it. You want to monetize that, monetize your expertise, right? So you need to get a return on all of the time and talent and treasure and gift that you have invested in yourself. And now you're providing it to others. So now you need to make a return on the investment, right? In the investment, right? So that is why people go into business. So here we are talking about entrepreneur and the power of a book, the power of the written word, and how you can use that to turn it into a business and monetize it, right? So last week I gave you why write, how to write, what to write, when to write, and the time is now. And now I'm giving you very basic fundamentals that you would need to have in place to turn your book into a business. All right. So you must be visible and you must be willing to put the work in. It's going to take planning. It's going to take some time. But let me tell you, you've got the time. You got the time. You may have to cut out some TV. You may have to cut out those things you watch, the series things you watch, because those series things get their claws into you. And the next thing you know, you're spending 3 and 4 and 5 hours watching these series, right? Because they have these cliffhangers at the end of every episode. So you keep watching and watching and watching. Next thing you know, you're down a rabbit hole, not sleeping, going to your bed 4 a.m. in the morning because you're watching a series. And why do I know that? Because it has happened to me. I usually talk about things that happened to me, okay? That happened to me. Go down these rabbit holes because I'm watching a series and then my brain cannot turn off. I want to see what's coming next, what's coming next, what's coming next. So cut that out. All right. And use that time to invest in creating this business with your book. Now, the last slide I have is, no, it's not the last slide. Not the last slide. Second to last slide. So marketing is your BFF. Marketing is your BFF. That's your best friend when it comes on to turning your book into a business, right? Or using your book to start a business. Marketing is your BFF. And marketing is storytelling for selling. I'm telling you a story so I can sell you what I have. Everything starts with a story. The reason why I started Victorious You Press is a story. The reason why I started my business has a story. The reason why I wrote my first book has a story. The reason why I wrote Bags in the Attic has a story. There's a story for the story, right? And that's all marketing is. Marketing is saying, I'm telling you a story so you know why I did this or why I have this now that I'm getting ready to give it to you, right? No matter what it is, McDonald's has a story about the Big Mac. Chick-fil-A has a story about the chicken sandwich. You know, Popeyes have a story about their chicken. I mean, Bojangles, there is a story. So every time you see a commercial that reels you in, it's because there's a story behind it. There is some element of a story. The reason why they make it, how they make it, you see them put in the chicken and the thing, that's all a digital story, a visual story. It's a visualization or you telling the reason why this is here, right? That's all marketing is. It's not that you have to go out there and pay thousands of dollars to get a PR person to market your book. No, it's you telling, this is why I wrote it, this is who I wrote it for, and this is what you will get if you buy this book. That's marketing. That's marketing. And where do you have to do it? Somewhere that you are visible, social media, right? And there are two different types of marketing, and we can always dig down deeper into the levels of marketing. There's digital and there's email. What is digital? Digital is anything that you are doing online, right? So whether it is social media, whether it is running ads, whether it is doing reels, whether it is doing TikTok or doing Facebook Lives, doing podcasts, all of that is digital marketing. But there is a big piece that a lot of people walk away from, and it's very important, and that's email marketing. Last week, I think it was last week or the week before, Instagram and Facebook just shut down. I thought I got hacked. I couldn't figure it out. It was saying my password was wrong. I was trying to change my password because I'm thinking, so I'm talking to my social media person and she's saying, no, mine looks like it's hacked too. And then she goes, wait a minute, my mom said hers is hacked too. So we realized that it was a social media shut down. Now, for that span of time that they were shut down, there's nothing we could have done to be visible online. But guess what wasn't shut down? Your email. Because every person on your email list you own. You don't own anybody on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, nowhere. You don't own them. They're followers and their colleagues and their, all these reasons why they follow you, but you don't own them. But when you have an email list, you own those people on your email list, because no matter how much, Mark Zuckerberg shut down the feeds, guess what? You can still send out your email, right? So that's why I say marketing is your best friend, because you have options. And the marketing piece is foundational. So as you're thinking about, all right, I'm going to use my book to turn in a business, these are the basic fundamentals and foundation things that you have to take into consideration. And they are easy, they are simple, and they work. All right. And then the last slide I have is the book. All right. Remember, we are building up. This is a 3-part series. Last week we talked about part 1. This week we're talking about part 2. And then next week we will talk about the elements or the things that you can do to start turning your book into the business, which is the what is next. So here are some of the things that you may or may not are thinking about writing or may have written. Memoirs and biographies are usually stories about a person's life, their experience, how they were raised up, something that was significant, some of the journeys, right? So these are usually personal stories. Knowledge book is something that you learn. So when you're writing this book, this is a book based on your learned experience, right? And you're giving examples, you're giving others the tools for them to learn about this thing as well. You can write a book that solves a problem. All right. So here is a book on how to understand how to create a mind map, right? Solution to a problem, right? I have this business, but I'm all over the place in my head, and I just want one document so I could put it all together. That could be a mind map. That could be a business model canvas, right? So you can write books that solves problems, right? A how-to guide, how to do certain things, how to change a tire, how to do formatting, how to do editing, right? Things of that nature. Inspirational guide. This is something that that is inspirational. So a devotional, probably a motivational book, maybe a prayer book, right? Those are inspirational. talent or a gift that can be taught. I see people teaching people how to sew, how to knit, how to crochet, how to cook, how to make vegan meals, all of that stuff. That can be one of your book. Mission. There's a lot of people who go on mission trips, right? Or teach people how to be missionaries out in the field. What are some of the things that you should be aware of? What is the characteristics of mission? That can be a book. Business book. I have a friend right now writing a book on how to get grants. That is a business book because most business owners want to learn how to get grants. And then some people write books about training, right? How to build an online course, right? So these are all ideas of books that you may have written or books that you can write. And I want you to pay attention to this list because next week we're going to show you what is the next step after this book so that you can build an additional stream of income and then another stream and then another stream. So I'm going to give you up to 7 streams of income next week that you can build from any one of these type of nonfiction books that you have written. All right. So that's all I have today on part 2 of using your book to start a business. I hope this was beneficial. I hope you learned a lot. Do me a favor, if this was meaningful for you or if you got good gems out of this, could you just share this to your page and just tag a friend, tag a business partner, tag a colleague, and just let them know that over here in Books to Business and Beyond, we're teaching people how to use their book or their one chapter from an anthology to create a business. I can't wait to talk to you next week on the final part 3, and to show you what is the next and the next and the next up to 7 streams of income from your book. But yes, your book can start a business. God bless you. Thank you so much for those of you who joined. I appreciate you, and we can't wait to see you next week. God bless you. And remember, the pen create an indelible impression moment in time that no man can erase. God bless you.